Hi everyone, my name is Kayla and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my experience at my DCP audition.
It's a magic moment now. Darling, it's a magical, magical life. Oh honey, it's a magical, magical life.
So on March 3rd, I attended my DCP audition in Madison, Wisconsin. When I got there, I was number 61. They didn't hand me a number right away, so I was kind of earlier. There was probably like 30 people in the room when I showed up, but that's just where I was when they handed me my number. It was pretty much a smaller site from what I've heard. The New York day was right before mine, and I know they had closer to 200, I think is what I was told, and we only had 100 right on the dot. So we were divided into two groups of 50 and I was in the second group. So we just kind of sat around and waited. They did start a little bit early for the first group, but not that early. We probably waited maybe half an hour before we were able to go in. But when we did go in, we started out by filling out just a simple, quick check-in on our phone. It was like on a Google Doc. So we just put in our name and our email just so it can link to our application. That way, if we were to be accepted as a performer, it would link with our application. So we'd get the email and stuff. So we did that, and we started off by learning a short march, and it consisted of 2 8 counts, and it was marching, a jazz square, a turn, and then a grapevine. It was super simple, really easy to pick up on if you're not a dancer. Very simple. We practiced that for probably 8 minutes. Like, we did it a few times, practiced it a little bit, and then we talked about an animation. Now this is different from what I've heard from other audition sites, because we did a march and an animation for the first cut, which is different than some of the other places where they only do the march. But we did a short 30-second animation that our prompt was, you are a character of your choice on a parade float, and you have to portray who you are being and make connections with guests, but still being in character. We were not allowed to be a princess because everyone can wave. So I chose to be Jessie because I didn't want to be Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Goofy. I just knew that those were going to be the go-to characters. So I chose to be Jessie. So in mine, I did a lot of lassoing, playing with my hat, some rootin' tootin', shootin', and just kind of a lot of waves. I tried to make my connections very personal to Jessie. I don't know how it really went, but yeah, so we practiced that a few times. We maybe did it 4 or 5 times practicing just so we could get it into our bodies. It wasn't like they're just like, okay, now do it, and then just expect you to know exactly what you're doing. So we had some time to think it over in our head before we were told to do it. But after we did that, we practiced our animation going into the march. So it just consisted of a 30-second animation and then immediately started marching to the music. After we practiced that maybe twice, we got lined up. So every one of us was squished to the side, and they did 4 columns of people, and with facing the casting director, and we started out, the music would start, they'd count us off, and we would start our animation, and then we would do the march 3 times across the floor towards the casting director. Once everyone went through that process, we immediately sat down and he started calling off the numbers. Luckily enough, he did call my number, so I was asked to stay after, and everyone who else's number was called stayed, and everyone else kind of left. he read off the numbers again just to make sure no one was trying to sneak in or make sure that everyone heard their number and was there. And then we were moved into a second room. In the second room, we did all of our Disney paperwork. So we filled out, you know, our height, our name, our email, just basic information about us. This is where we did get measured, and they took a picture of us. This was a very basic picture. They just took, like, you know, just a little picture of us. It wasn't anything fancy. And then we kind of just waited a little bit for everyone to get measured. And then we went back into the original room and learned another animation. In this animation, it was a minute-long animation, and our prompt was, you are a toy in Andy's room, and you wake up to find that none of your friends are there, and you must find them. That we are told that they are in the backyard, and Andy is playing with them in the backyard. But we have to get to them, and there has to be a problem. There has to be some sort of conflict that happens on our way to the backyard, whichever way we choose. So originally I thought, okay, I'm gonna be Bo Peep because she's a little, I mean, she's popular, but she's not like Buzz or Woody. So I'm gonna be Bo Peep. And I attempted it, and it was just a fail. So I changed my mind. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be Buzz Lightyear. In my animation, I chose to wake up on the shelf. I had to jump down, and then I went up to the window, got up on the ledge, and used some binoculars to find them in the backyard. And then I decided to fly out the window. My conflict was that I ran into a tree, so I momentarily lost my flying aerodynamics and had to regain them. Then I started running through the backyard, and it started raining just to give me a little bit more time. And then you get to your friends, you're reunited, and you're very happy. So that's what I chose to do. I don't remember where I was after that, so I'm just gonna move on. After we practiced the animation a few times, we then learned the dance. Maybe we learned the dance first. Honestly, I don't remember, but we learned an animation that was a minute long and a dance of 4/8 counts this time, so it was longer and more complex. In the dance, there was some pivot turns, a batma, there was a pivot turn, a batma, a pirouette. There's probably something else, but it was pretty easy still for the most part, a little bit more challenging, but if you don't have dance background, you're still good. So yeah, we practiced that quite a few times, and after we practiced that, we were then told, the casting director came in and we were told what to expect. So he told us that we were gonna come in groups of 5 based on from lowest number to highest number, and we would do the dance twice. So we would do the dance here, and then we would switch lines and do the dance again, and then we would do our animation once. During the dance, when it was our turn, I did make eye contact with him a few times, and I was like, this is exciting, we're making eye contact, he's writing stuff down, hopefully this is good, and he's not like, this girl is terrible. But we did make eye contact quite a few times, so I was feeling pretty good. At the end, he did not ask me to stay. However, he did mention before that if I don't ask you to stay, do not read into it. It does not mean anything. It could literally mean I can't read your handwriting on your application. So that's a little bit different from what I've heard in the past from other audition sites, where if you don't make it into the 3rd round, that you are not in consideration for a face character or a parade performer. However, there wasn't a 3rd round to my knowledge. So, but I've also heard in the past that the 1st round is the march, the 2nd round is the animation, and the 3rd round is the dance. But I don't really know. Ours seemed to be a little bit laid out differently than what I've heard from other audition sites, as well as the past, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, after that, I did leave. It was, I think we started at 10 and I left at like 1:30, I think. So it wasn't super long, but I mean, definitely bring snacks, I'd say. As we were leaving, we were told that we would know by the end of March whether or not we were casted as a performer. So we didn't have a whole long time to wait, and we found out before the deadline, so that was exciting. I didn't have to wait a super long time to find out on that. Here are some tips for you on how to have a successful audition. When I first got in, I immediately wanted to find some people that I could talk to, get to know, because I was going to be joining these people on my program and I wanted to get to know some people. I don't know if the casting director was really watching, but they may be looking to see who is communicating with others versus who is sitting in the corner alone. I don't know. I didn't really see him around. I've heard that in the past that some casting directors do kind of linger in the waiting areas just to kind of see like how you how you engage with other people around you. I didn't really notice this at mine. However, I wasn't really looking. So that's one tip I have for you. Another tip would be to smile and have fun. I mean, this audition was a blast. I don't think it could have been more fun. Like, it was amazing. It was awesome. No one was rude. Like, everyone was nice. The director, the casting director, and the choreographer, they're there to help you. They want you to succeed. They gave us lots of tips throughout the whole process just so we knew what they were looking for. Many times our choreographer was like, if you do this, you will not be casted. If you don't do this, you will not be casted. So they weren't trying to hide anything from you. They were trying to be upfront, saying, hey, if you don't do something with your face, you're not gonna be casted. If you don't go full out, you won't be casted. So just listen to what they have to say and have fun with it. It kind of took me back to my show choir days when we were doing the dance, and I had a blast and I loved show choir. So I just kind of was like, I love show choir and I'm gonna love this audition because it was so much fun to be able to dance again and perform, even if it's just for your casting director, because that was a blast for me. So you want him to know, or him or her to know, that you are having fun, because if you don't look like you're having fun, they don't want to put you in a parade. They don't want to make you a performer, because that's not what it's about. They want you to just be exploding with energy, exploding with fun, because we're putting on a show for all these people and they want to have their best performers out there every second. So you need to show that you have so much energy inside you and you're just exploding with energy. If you have any other questions about my audition and my experience at my DCP audition, feel free to comment below, message me on Instagram, anything. I'd love to hear back from you guys and answer any of the questions that you have. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and get more advice on your DCP application, as well as follow me through my program. Bye!